My name is Cadet Sergeant Logan with the Hornet Battalion's leadership team. For our assistant soldier, we chose George C. Marshall due to his leadership, which include his coveted 9 principles of leadership, such as the principle of integrity and the principle of action, which are present in our battalion. We also chose him due to his service for our country. Although Marshall had a rather unremarkable early life, his first leadership potential was sought at the Virginia Military Institute. During his first year, Marshall had a nearly fatal injury after a hazing accident from the senior cadets. The senior cadets were left wondering if they would be expelled for their actions, but to their surprise, Marshall stated that his injury was an accident, which earned him a lot of respect from the senior cadets. By the end of his first year, he reached the rank of First Corporal. After a distinguished career throughout his time in VMI, he reached his final year. During his senior year, he obtained the rank of First Captain, VMI's highest rank, and his leadership was soon tested by those he was leading. During an evening meal, the cadets under his command fell completely silent. Marshall immediately recognized this as a challenge to his leadership and called the room to attention. He marched cadets out of the mess hall and deprived them of their strawberries, which are a delicacy in all service academies. One instance of Marshall's ability to act occurred in his process of obtaining a commission. Since the only way to obtain a commission is to attend one of the service academies, Marshall was struck from getting an easy commission. This brought Marshall to the White House, and when he was unable to obtain a meeting with the president, he tagged along with a father and daughter pair who were having a meeting with the president. Once the pair finished, Marshall stated his case to the president and obtained a commission. After a distinguished career before and during World War I, Marshall was assigned to be the senior instructor to the Illinois National Guard. During his time here, he oversaw the Civilian Conservation Corps and learned and taught many leadership lessons to junior officers in time of a lack of qualified officers. In 1939, George C. Marshall was selected to be the Army Chief of Staff. His first action was to replace the dead wood in the officer corps with younger, more qualified officers. After receiving backlash from his actions, he offered his resignation to Roosevelt as a sign that he was willing to make the same sacrifice, which was later laughed off by the president. As Chief of Staff, Marshall increased his small Continental Army of 175,000 men with a rifle supply so small that they had to duel sticks into an 8.5 million men and women juggernaut with a logistics system stretching 60,000 miles and the air's most advanced weapons. Marshall became the Secretary of State in 1947. During this, he helped create the European Recovery Plan, which was also referred to as the Marshall Plan. This plan helped rebuild Europe and became the first and only professional soldier to ever receive the Nobel Peace Prize. He also received an honorary doctorate from Harvard University and was called a soldier and statesman whose ability and character broke only one comparison in the history of the nation, which was an unspoken comparison to George Washington. In 1950, President Truman called Marshall back to the government service and asked him to become the Secretary of Defense. Truman kicked the previous secretary out of the position, and it required Marshall to have a congressional waiver because the National Security Act of 1947 prohibited a uniformed military officer from serving in the post. Although Marshall retired from the military, all individuals who achieved the rank of General of the Army do not technically retire and remained officially on active duty. Our nation owes George C. Marshall a great debt for his 57 years of service to our great nation. During his years, he was in the Army, National Guard, and served as the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense, and the President of the American Red Cross.